Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my Python tutorial series. My name is Eliazar, and you are watching EA Lego Academy. So, good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my Python tutorial series. My name is Eliazar, and you are watching EA Lego Academy. So, to take us further in our tutorial series, in our last class, we looked at the scroll bar widget. We looked at the progress bar widget, and we looked at the spin box and the menu widget. Now today we're going to be doing a little project. I'm going to try to design a banking system. So this banking system is going to be similar. It's going to be an extension of what we already did when we were still getting our hands around the Python language. You can go back to my previous tutorial, the part when I talked about a banking system. So it's just an extension of that same project, but this time around I'm going to be using a graphical user interface to create the banking system. So today in this tutorial, we're going to create the framework down. We're going to create the GUIs that will allow us to navigate to the different screens of our banking app. So this banking app is not yet attached to a backend. We're going to be using JSON to be able to manage data persistence. So now the banking project that we are trying to build, this is the picture of what we're trying to create. So I will be very fast because I don't have much time. I'm just going to sketch the just going to design the user interfaces down. Then in our next class, we would apply the logic to it. So without wasting much time, I will just open up the picture beside so that I can be able to write code side by side while I create the project. So what I'll do, I'll just right click here, I'll come to new, I'll say Python file, and then I'm going to say banking System GUI. So this is my project. Now I'm going to be taking an object-oriented approach. So I created a video about classes in Python, and you can go back and take a look at what it's all about. So classes basically are just like boilerplate. They allow us to be able to represent real life situations in code. So maybe you are trying to design a car, you're trying to design a game, design a character in a game. You can create a class to give the different specifications of that character you're trying to build. So since I'm trying to build a banking system, I'm going to create a class that holds the entire code of each of these user interfaces, and each of these user interfaces is going to have functions generating these window screens. So without wasting much time, I want to import tkinter. So I'll say import tkinter, and then after that, I'll create my class. Just call it bank. Be on the safe side. Now we're going to have some global variables that we would want to use in our functions. Now the first one is going to be my window screen. Of course, I'll say window is equal to tkinter.tk. So my window screen class, and after that, now we have some widgets that we want to also make global so that we can reuse them over and over again. And the very first one is going to be, so I will not, because some of the code are going to be globally accessible. So I don't want to waste much time here. I don't want to waste much time. So what I will do, I'll just create an initializer. We might not have much need this initializer. So you can go back to my previous tutorial. I said self simply means the class. So self is referring to the class while I'm inside the class. Now, the first thing I want to generate is this my window screen, the login screen. So I'll create a function for that. I will call it login screen, and the first thing I want to do is to create. So now, if you look at it very well, I've not talked about the frame widget. I will do very soon, but I'm going to place them on a frame widget so that they can be side by side, and then the button is also going to be on its own frame. So I'm going to create a frame. I'll call it FRM1. So frame widgets are just widgets that allow us to be able to create a background for a window screen. So I'll say self.window. So obviously I'm referring to that window screen, and so I'll just leave it like that. I'll call it FRM1. So I have to be very fast because I'm trying to work with time here, and I will just pack it FRM1 pack. So I'm going to use the geometry manager. Now, there are some other options that I've not talked about yet, which I will still talk about later on in my code. Now, the other part I've not talked about is that the pack geometry manager allows us to be able to specify some options. Now, we have an option called fill that allows us to be able to specify the width. That is, if I increase my window screen and a frame is on that window screen, it simply means that the frame will also increase with the window screen. But to what axis or at what axis? Now, if I say both, it means that it's going to fill the x and the y axis simultaneously as I increase my window screen. But if I give it a value of x, it means that it's only going to fill the x axis. But since I want it to expand, as I expand the window screen, I'm going to give it a value of both. So that is what I'm going to do. Give it a value of both. And after that, I will come here and say expand. Alright, sorry, that was my mistake. Fill simply means how wide is that window screen, or rather, how wide is that widget going to be. So if I say X, it means that it's going to occupy the entire X axis. And if I say Y, it means it's going to occupy the entire Y axis. Now, it is the expand that I was explaining. So the expand does allows us to be able to increase a widget as we increase a window screen. So I'll come here and say tkinter dot true. So you can either say true or yes, whichever one. So I'll just stick to yes. So it means I want to expand the window screen as that is, I want this frame to expand as I expand my window screen. Now, because I am also creating another frame, so I'll give it frame 2, because if you look at this window screen very well, you will discover that ID is an entry widget beside ID here, and I have ID, my label widget. So there's a label widget name, and I also have an entry widget beside it, side by side. So I'm placing this name and Alex on the frame 1, ID, and this one on the frame 2. And then this one, these buttons, this is my login and my sign up, will just be packed on that window screen. I'm not putting them in on any frame. So I'm not putting them on any frame. So that I will not waste much time, I'll just come here and say name is equal to tkinter dot label, and I would say that it's on the frame 1. I'll say text equal to name, and I'll give it some font. I'll say Arial, give it 30 to 30. So before that, I wanted to be able to come here and create a title. I'll say self. Now, the reason why I'm saying self.window, I said it in the previous tutorials, is because we are referring to the class while we are inside the class. So anywhere you want, anytime you want to access something in this class, you have to say self, so that you can specify that you are referring to the class itself. I'll say self.window and then geometry. So that's what the self is. You can see that I'm simply writing self beside this window variable. So that is what it means. Simply means that you are giving, that is, you are now, this window variable belongs to the class. So in order to specify that I'm trying to access that variable that belongs to my class, I have to specify the self parameter. I hope that makes sense. I'll come here and say name.pack. So I'm packing it on my window screen. Now there's something here I want to explain. Now, when you pack a widget on a window screen, if you don't specify the direction, it stays at the top. So that is defaulting to the top direction. But now you can also decide to pack a widget to the left, to the right, and to the bottom. Now, if you notice, every time we were packing widget on the window screen, the next widget packed after the first will just be directly under the first widget. So it does not replace the first widget packed. It arranges itself under. So the same thing, if I start to pack a widget at the left hand side, even though I pack another widget on the left hand side, the second widget packed at the left hand side will just be beside the first widget packed at the left hand side. So now there's an option in tkinter called side, and I'll say tkinter dot left. It simply means that I'm trying to pack this my name widget at the left hand side. From the diagram, you can see that it is just beside, it is on my frame at the left hand side, and I'm also going to pack my entry widget on the left hand side. But because the name widget was first at the left hand side, the entry widget will just be beside the frame widget on the left hand side also. So to save myself much stress, I also want it to be expanding as I increase the window screen. and I want it to occupy the entire frame when I place it there. So I'll just copy that. Now to save myself the stress, I will copy this as well, and I will come down here and paste it, and I will change it to entry, ENT. I'll just say name entry. Come here and I'll also say name entry as well. Now, so what I'm going to do actually is I'll make it globally accessible. I'm not going to stress myself. The reason is because I will want to access it later when I start to add the logic. So I'll come down here and I'll paste it, and I will. Okay, so we needed to have made these frames globally accessible as well. So what I'll do, I'll just come here, paste it, and instead of me doing all this, I'll just say window. Yeah, let me not um, stress out. Let me just leave them there. So we would make them globally accessible later. So we're still going to write this code. I don't want to waste much time. So I'll just remove this text away from here since it's an entry widget, and I'll change it to entry. I'm just trying to be very fast because I have a lot of things to do. So I want to just quickly design this window screen. So after that, you want to just pack some buttons. I'll just say btn. I'll just say sign up. The sign up is equal to tkinter button. Then I'll just say so it is on the window screen now. It's no longer on the frame. I'll just say text equal to sorry, this is login, not sign up. Sorry. So login. I'll come here and I'll say login, and after that I will come here and say font. And I'll say Arial 30. Now come here and say login dot pack. So I'll just copy this one because I also want it to fill both sides, and I want it to be expanding as I run my code. So I'll just copy this, save myself the stress, paste it down, change it to sign up so that it will just stack itself on top. So this is just to quickly create our window screen. After that, I'll just call my main loop. I'll say self dot window dot main loop. So I want to quickly do a quick test, a quick run, so that we'll see how far. So I'll just create an instance of my class. I'll say bank. Now come here and say bank dot login screen. So let's see if it's going to generate the window screen for us. So you can see that we have our window screen, but something is missing, the ID. So I've not added ID, I've only added the button, and I've not changed the text. So quickly correct that so that I will not waste much time. So I have my name entry. I also need to have my ID as well. Now it's also good practice to be labeling your code each time you write something. When you perform an update, it's good practice to label your code. So I'll just do something like this. I'll just say name, and I just come down here and paste it down. And instead of that, just change it to ID. So ID. And I'll just say sign up, rather, sorry, ID rather, not sign up. I'll say ID, and I'll just come here and say ID.pack. ID.pack. I'll change it to ID. So of wasting much time. I'll come here and say ID entry. So I'm still going to redo this code again in our next tutorial, but let me just set the framework of what we're trying to develop. I'll come here and I'll say sign up. So let's run that again and see what's up. Okay, so let's see it's no problem because I've not added the frame. So for my ID, it's going to be frame 2, and then for this one, it's also going to be frame 2. So let's check it out again. Don't want to waste time. So you can see I have my ID and name. So I'm still going to adjust the positions in our next tutorial, but I'm just trying to quickly create a fast framework for what we're trying to do. Now the next thing we want to do is to create another function for the balance screen. So I'll just say balance. So balance. Wait, we're not doing that yet. Let us create for the sign up page. I'll just say df sign up page. Okay, the df sign up page. So there's a small error somewhere. So it's supposed to be outside of the df sign up page. All right. So now for this one, we want to just start. So I'll just say frm. So 3. So I'll just continue from there. Or rather, it's not like it can even access the frame. So you can still say frame 1 because of object orientedness, you can do the same thing. So what I'll do to save myself the stress, because programming is all about efficiency and not wasting time. So I'll say frame 1. Obviously, it is not the same frame 1. It does not even know it exists, so it's not the same frame 1. Now, if you look at this very well, I have name, ID, balance, email, pin. So of course they are all side by side. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to create 5 frames. I will just copy this and paste it a few more times. So all these concepts will become apparent. I'm still going to explain them properly. For now, trying to just rush through so that we will not waste time. Frame 4 and then frame 5. Frame 5. So obviously this one will have its own window screen. So I'm going to create a window screen here. So I just copy this, paste it down, and then change it to frame 5. After that, you want to come here. You can even copy the same name and ID, you understand? Instead of wasting time, save yourself the stress. I just say name and ID because why not? The name and ID is going to be on my frame 1 and frame 2. And after that, I can now create for balance. So to save myself the stress, so I didn't copy one more part for my ID, the ID entry. Copy this, and then I'll just paste it under here. So and after that, I'm going to copy. So I'll just repeat it a couple of times, this ID, so that I will just change the name. So that's all I'll do. Change the name. So copy it, then come down here, paste it as 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to paste it 2 more times so that it can be complete. So after this one, I'll change it to balance so that the text can be different. So balance, and then email and pin. So email, email. So everything is just labels, entries, and buttons. That's all. That's all. Email and pin. All right. So after that, I'll now do a change. So I'll just come here and I'll say balance, so that we can have that balance, and I'll change the frame. So don't forget, very important. So this one is going to be frame 3, frame 3, frame 4, frame 5. Frame 5. So there are still things left out. There are still a few things left out. So I also want to change the entry as well to 5. Change the entry to 5. Come here, change the entry to 5. What am I doing? Sorry, to 4 rather. To 4, and then change the entry to 4. So I'll leave this one at 2 to 3. So that's the problem of rushing. So after balance, I have balance entry. I'll just change this to balance and then balance entry. So now there's a shortcut in which you can rename things. So we also employ the use of that. So I'll just come here, hold down alternate, click on this as well. So you can simultaneously delete this, and I will just say balance entry. So you can quickly do that. So what I did was that I held down alternate and I selected the places I wanted to rename. So after I'm done with that, I can come here and also do the same thing simultaneously for the email. Just say email and then email entry. So I'll rename them simultaneously as well. So email entry. And after that, pin, of course, we want to be able to rename it simultaneously as well. Say pin, then you want to come here and rename the pin entry as well. So you say pin entry. All right, so you want to change the text, obviously. So I'll come here, I'll say email, and you want to come here and change the text to pin. So email, balance, ID, name, pin. So after that, you want to. So I didn't even create a frame for a window screen for this. So you want to be able to create a window screen. So I'll just call it sign window or sign win. Go to tkinter, tk. So using tkinter.tk is actually a very bad practice, especially when you are opening a window screen from another window screen. So you want to be able to make sure that you are using your top level. So I will still explain all these concepts later. So you want to ensure you are using the top level. So I will just do a mass renaming for all of them since they are all using the sign window screen. So sign win, to sign win, to sign win, and then I can come here and say win.title. I'll just say register screen. So register window. So even if we can't finish it today, we're going to finish it in our next tutorial, but I'm trying my best to be fast. So geometry 300 by 400. Okay. So after that, now we have a button, sign up button. So what I will just do is to copy my code for my sign up, copy it, and then go and paste it. So I'll copy it and I'll go and paste it. So I will soon close from work. That's why I'm trying to quickly rush up. And so if I'm not able to finish it today, obviously we will finish it in our next tutorial. So I will do it tomorrow. I'll finish it up tomorrow. So um I'm about to close from work, so that's why I'm trying to rush it. So I'm sure you guys must have wondered the reason why I have been fast these past tutorials. The reason is because I normally do my tutorials when I'm about to close from work. So just try and find extra time to do it. But if I'm not able to finish it today, then we will finish it up in our next tutorial. So let me just run the main loop, sign up. So what I will do is that I'm going to pass this function to that button, this sign up button, so that when I click on this button, it generates this window screen. So you want to go back to your first page, and the first page is your login screen. Now, from our past tutorials, if you want a button to call a function, you want to pass you're going to pass the command parameter in the parentheses of that button. So I'll put a comma here and I'll come down here and I'll say command. Now I said that when you don't want the function to have its parentheses, you don't put a lambda. But if you want, or rather, you don't put the lambda keyword. But when you want your function to have a parenthesis, you put lambda. So I want mine to have a parenthesis, so I'm going to put lambda. Now, because I'm getting the function, I'm trying to call the function through my class. Remember, I said the self parameter represents the class while you are inside that class. So to have access to the function, I have to say self dot sign up. So self dot sign up. So this allows me to access the sign up page from this my login page, so that when I click on this sign up, it allows me to open up the window screen. So let's quickly test that out before we proceed. And when I click sign up, you see that it generates another window screen. So now this is the mistake I was talking about. If I close this my main window screen, this one does not close. So we're still going to correct it to make it a top level, so that now top level is another window screen that depends on the previous window screen which generated it. So we're going to look at that properly. We'll look at that subsequently. So let me just try and create one more window screen before we go. So I'll try to create this one that shows me my account info. I'll just call it BF account info. df account info, and I will just call it account win. So my account window screen, I'll say tkinter dot tk account win dot title. I'll call it info screen, and the account win dot geometry 300 by 400. So after that, I will just create. So you can just say pack. You can use your pack geometry manager. You don't necessarily need to create a frame to stack them side by side, because if you look at it, they are all placed vertically in a vertical manner. So and they are all stacked upon themselves. So I have like 4 label widgets. So I will just create a dummy label for them to display what I have here. Of course, it's going to be aligned at the center of the window screen, not at this point. If you wanted it to be aligned at this point, then we should have used our frame. But let's just do that so that it won't be like we're just copy here. Okay, so again, I'll just go and copy the same frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of them. After this, I'll stop. Then our next class will continue the rest. So frame, I just paste it there. So again, you want to multi edit it. So you select them in a multiple fashion. I'll call it account win, and then after that, I can just place a name. I'll just say name because tkinter dot label. So it's a label widget because it's showing some information. I'll say account win. Say text is equal to name. I'll say font. I should have copied that code from the previous line up. So just wasted my time. So I'll just come up here and copy this pack for name. Save ourselves the stress. Copy it, scroll down, and then place it there. Okay. So after this, I can just edit comment on it so that we will know what we are working with. This for the name. And you can just come here, copy it, and then paste it a couple of times. So I'm still going to. All right. So name. The next one is Alex. So it's not Alex only because we're going to be fetching from a database. So you actually want to get the actual person's name. So we will look at that properly. This is name Alex actually. So Alex is balance, and this one is the amount. Let's say amount. Okay, so I'll change this one to Alex. I'll just say name data. So name data, and this one is going to be balance. I'll just perform in multiple edits. So balance. And the next one is going to be amount. I'll perform in multiple edits also. So amount. Now it's not on the account window screen. They are going to be on the different frames. So I'll just say frame one, frame two, frame three, frame four. All right. So name Alex, just a dummy. When we fetch from the database, from the JSON file rather, it's still a database. When we fetch from JSON file, it's going to replace the data with the correct amount. So 150 to 30. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is to copy this button, and I'll change some things there. So I'll click on this. Rather, I'll copy this and I'll paste it directly under here, and I'll just call it. So this one is just going to be on my main window screen. So the account window. So I will call it account info. Forgot to perform a multiple edits. So account. Now after that, I'm also going to pass this. So I need to create a window screen, main loop rather. I'll say account win dot main, and I'm going to pass it to this login button so that when I click on it, it generates this window screen. So I'll go back to my login page, not sign up, and I'll give it a command that is in my login button. I'll come here and I'll say command. So command, say lambda, and I'll say self dot account info. Let's check it out. If I click on login, see that it generates the window screen, and so it was supposed to. So you can see my button at the bottom. So it was supposed to park at the right hand side. So I don't know why it did not do that. So let us try and check our code properly so that we can be able to call it a day for today. So what I'll do, instead of putting it on the frame one, let me just try and put it on the normal window screen. So not this page, sorry, the last code. So I'll just add it. Let me perform a multiple edit. So I'll click here, click here, click here, click here. So okay. So account win. And let's check it out and see why it did not park. So most likely it is the expand. It is the expand. Okay, it is the expand. So what we'll do is we'll Z. I'm going to check the expand. So it's on the window screen. It's not supposed to expand. So I'll just try this. I'll edit everything. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. Yay! So I've done it. So it was the expand and the fill that was causing the problem. So you can see that it aligns at the left hand side, which is similar to what we have in our screen here. So that's what we wanted to do. So in our next tutorial, we're going to continue with this project and build the other part. So this is how the code looks like. This is the full code. So we're going to build it and add more screens. So that brings us to the end of this tutorial. So if you liked my video, please hit the like button. If you feel like this content will be informative to someone else, please share. And if you want to encourage me to keep on doing more content like this, please subscribe. Till we meet again, it's goodbye for now.